Hey guys, so this is going to be my very first book haul video. I have quite a bit of books. I think I have about 6 right there. Before we get to those, though, I want to show you guys what I am currently reading. It is a book that I'm sure many of you have heard of. It is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. It is the first book in the Mortal Instruments saga. Here's the cover, the binding, and the back. I'm a little bit more than halfway through with this book, so I should have it finished by tomorrow night. If not, definitely by Tuesday morning, and then I will have my video up Tuesday night for sure. After that, I have one more book to read before I can get to my book haul pile, and that is another book that I'm sure you have heard of. It is Clockwork Angel, another one by Cassandra Clare. It is the first book in the Infernal Devices trilogy. Is the cover, the binding, and the back. So I'm very excited to start reading that. I'm even more excited to start my book haul pile because I have great books in here. I got these from about 3 locations, so I'll tell you which books I got from where. And also, I think for these videos, I'm just going to read the description off the back, and then when I do my reviews, I will tell you the synopsis in my own words, because then I'll have a bit more to go off of. So let's start. The first book we have, this book I got from Barnes & Noble. It is The Scorch Trials by James Dashner. It is the second book in the Maze Runner trilogy. There's the cover, the binding, and the back. And the back tells us today, the maze was only the beginning. Solving the maze was supposed to be the end. No more puzzles, no more variables, and no more running. Thomas was sure that escape meant he and the Gladers would get their lives back, but no one really knew what sort of life they were going back to. Burned by sun flares and baked by a new brutal climate, the earth is a wasteland. Government has disintegrated, and with it order. And now cranks, people covered in festering wounds and driven to murderous insanity by the infectious disease known as the flare, roam the crumbling cities, hunting for the next victim. End meal. Delicious. The Gladers are far from done running. Instead of freedom, they find themselves faced with another trial. They must cross the Scorch, the most burned out section of the world, and arrive at a safe haven in 2 weeks. And the wicked has made sure to adjust the variables and stack the odds against them. Thomas can only wonder, does he hold the secret to freedom somewhere in his mind, or will he forever be at the mercy of wicked? Goddamn wicked. Always causing problems for people. So I'm very, very excited for this book. So excited. I love The Maze Runner. Maybe I'll do a review on that later on down if I'm not reading anything at the time, which is very unlikely. But who knows. The second book we have is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. It is the second book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians pentology. Here's the cover, the binding, and the back, which tells us what? Percy Jackson's 7th grade year has been surprisingly quiet. Not a single monster has set foot on his New York prep school campus, but when an innocent game of dodgeball among Percy and his classmates turns into a death match against an ugly gang of cannibal giants, things get, well, ugly. And the unexpected arrival of his friend Annabeth brings more bad news. The magical borders that protect Camp Half-Blood have been poisoned by a mysterious enemy, and unless a cure is found, the only safe haven for demigods will be destroyed. In this fresh, funny, and wildly popular follow-up to The Lightning Thief, Percy and his friends must journey into the Sea of Monsters to save their camp. But first, Percy will discover a stunning new secret about his family, one that makes him question whether being claimed as Poseidon's son is an honor or simply a cruel joke. I personally would think it would be cool to be a child of Poseidon, but that's just me. I will figure out why it might be a cruel joke once I read this. so I'm very excited. I got this one from Barnes & Noble as well. The next book we have is Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. It is book number 1 in the Hex Hall trilogy. Here's the cover, the binding, it's a little worn out, and the back. I got this from Half Price Books, which is a really great store. It's used books, but I mean, other than the binding, this is great quality. I only got it for $5. So here's what the back says. On her 12th birthday, Sophie Mercer discovered that she was a witch. 3 bumpy years later, after a prom night spell gone horribly wrong, she's exiled to Hex Hall, an isolated reform school for wayward prodigium, aka witches, fairies, and shapeshifters. By the end of her first day, Sophie has quite a scorecard. 3 powerful enemies who look like supermodels, a futile crush on a gorgeous warlock, a creepy tag-along ghost, and a new roommate who happens to be the most hated person and only vampire on campus. Then, when the mysterious predator begins attacking students, and Sophie's only friend is the #1 suspect, a horrifying plot begins to surface. Soon, Sophie is preparing for the biggest threat of all, an ancient secret society determined to destroy all prodigium, especially her. Ruh-roh. I'm excited for this book. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I've heard it's very good and it's very witty, which I love. So, excited. The next book we have is Infinity, The Chronicles of Nick by Sherrilyn Kenyon. This is book number 1 in the Chronicles of Nick series. Here's the cover, very nifty. The binding and the back, which says, at 14, Nick Gautier thinks he knows everything about the world around him. Streetwise, tough, and savvy, his quick sarcasm is the stuff of legends, until the night when his best friends tried to kill him. Never good. Never good. Saved by a mysterious warrior who has more fighting skills than Chuck Norris, Nick is sucked into the realm of the Dark Hunters, immortal vampire slayers who risk everything to save humanity. Nick quickly learns that the human world is only a veil for a much larger and more dangerous one, a world where the captain of the football team is a werewolf and the girl he has a crush on goes out at night to escape the undead. Well then. But before he can even learn the rules of this new world, his fellow students are turning into flesh-eating zombies, and he's next on the menu. As if starting high school isn't hard enough, now Nick has to hide his new friends from his mom, his chainsaw from the principal, and keep the zombies and the demons see from eating his brains, all without getting grounded or suspended. How in the world is he supposed to do that? This poor kid's life is falling apart. This is awful. I am very excited to read this book, actually. But this just, ugh. Oh boy. That's a lot. The next book that we have, I got this book from Wal-Mart. I saw it and it was only like $7. So I got it on a whim. I just saw it and I bought it. I mean, I knew I was going to buy it, but I was going to wait till later, but it was there. Anyway, the next book that we have is Heist Society by Allie Carter. It is book number 1 in the Heist Society trilogy. Here's the cover, the binding, and the back. And let's read the synopsis, which is in the flap, not the back. When Katerina Bishop was 3, her parents took her to the Louvre to case it. For her 7th birthday, Katerina and her Uncle Eddie traveled to Austria to steal the crown jewels. When Kat turned 15, she planned a con of her own, scamming her way into the best boarding school in the country, determined to leave the family business behind. Unfortunately, leaving the life for a normal life proves harder than she'd expected. Soon, Kat's friend and former co-conspirator, Hale, appears out of nowhere to bring her back into the world she tried so hard to escape. But he has good reason. A powerful mobster's priceless art collection has been stolen, and he wants it returned. Only a master thief could have pulled off this job, and Kat's father isn't just on the suspect list, he is the suspect list. Caught between Interpol and a far more deadly enemy, Kat's dad needs her help. For Kat, there is only one solution: track down the paintings and steal them back. So what if it's a spectacularly impossible job? She's got 2 weeks, a teenage crew, and hopefully just enough talent to pull off the biggest heist in her family's very crooked history. And with any luck, steal her life back along the way. I've heard very good things about this book. Very good things. Oh, I was looking at the cover and I just noticed the little painting in the sunglasses. Okay, that shows how much I was paying attention. I got this book from Half Price Books as well, and I think I got this only for $7 as well, which is a really good considering it's like in nearly spotless condition. Yep. Okay, so very excited to read that. The next book, the next and final book that we have is Rotten Ruin by Jonathan Maberry. It is book number 1 in the Benny Amura quadrilogy. Oh, hey now. Okay, actually one of the first things, I was looking on Goodreads, and the cover really caught my eye for this one, and I don't buy books based on covers, so I was hoping when I was reading the descriptions this was really good because I really wanted the cover. So here's the cover, here's the binding, which I really love, that looks sick on my bookshelf, let me tell you, and the back, which says, Benny Amura couldn't hold a job, so he took to killing. In the zombie-infested world Benny has grown up in, teenagers must work once they turn 15, or they'll lose their food rations. Benny isn't interested in taking on the family business, but he reluctantly agrees to train as a zombie killer with his boring big brother Tom. He expects a dull job whacking zombies for cash. What he discovers is a vocation that will teach him what it really means to be human. As his worldview is challenged again and again by the lessons he learns from Tom, Benny is forced to confront another horrifying reality. Sometimes the most terrible monsters are human. Critically acclaimed author Jonathan Maberry crafts a terrifying future vision of a zombie apocalypse, brought to life through the rich emotional struggles of a teenager trying to find his place in a tumultuous new world. This sounds really good. It sounds really funny. Like, I get that from the synopsis. Like, not in, like, the cheesy way, but in the very, it's serious, but kind of funny. And Jonathan Maberry, I was actually looking at more of his books on Goodreads, and he has, I think I have almost a lot of his books on my to-read list. So, just knock this series out and on to the next. So, that is my very first book haul. I'm going to record my movie haul after this, but so I guess you can get a taste of like the kind of books that I read, and like I said at the beginning, once I finish, I have a lot of reviews to do, I have a lot of reading to do, let's keep that short. So I will have my movie haul up, and then after that I will have my very first review up. Yay! Alright, bye.